get a little dry fire training tip for you here today. We're going to do something a little different. Got a student coming in that she's trying to transition into red dot, green dot from the traditional iron sight. So this is going to be something new. Big thing that we push is doing your homework at night. Take a cleared firearm, and of course both of these firearms are cleared. Get my little piece of cardboard that's out now. And basically we're going to take that little piece of cardboard. We're going to set it right into the breech face. Now, a little trick to this, you want to make sure that that actually seats. If the breech doesn't seat back down into its spot, you'll find that that trigger becomes dead. In this case, with our little piece of cardstock stuck in there, that trigger is still active, right? Cleared firearm so we can go do our training at home. And what we want to do is we want that student to be able to go home, look at a mirror, and do some training. And we're looking to find that dot, be able to squeeze that trigger, have a reactive trigger, and not have to reset that slide every time. The problem with resetting that slide, what we're used to, running that slide every time to be able to function that trigger, now we've created a muscle memory that's unnecessary. We don't need to feel like every time we run that trigger, we need to run that slide. I want to be able to pull up, get on target with that dot, a couple of squeezes of the trigger. We're not creating the same repetition every time. It's not one squeeze, it's not two squeeze. If I want to get up there and I want to run through 10 cycles, I can. And work on keeping that dot downrange on target the whole time, work on smooth trigger squeeze. Gun stays right where I want it to be. I'm on target. And we can do this in multiple guns. So we've run this little trick in multiple striker fires. It seems to work really well in most of them. Again, set it down into the breech face. We're going to let that breech close. And the same thing. You'll see on the Glock, we're still using that trigger safety. Trigger's functional. And now I can go back to the same thing. I can get up on target. I can squeeze, I can squeeze, I can squeeze. And I've got a functional dry fire weapon at home without having to buy anything. That cost you a whole nothing cents. So, little cardstock, little piece of cardboard, but you do find that you want to get that to be able to set back into the breech face. What we found is if the gun is slightly out of battery, then I pull that trigger, and sometimes that trigger will go dead. See, we got a dead trigger. No longer functional. So if it's seated into the breech face, works really well. All right, there's your training tip of the day. Go out, train, get it done. Okay, so we were on the subject of dry fire training earlier. We were talking about a piece of cardstock that can be used in your breech face, allow you to have an active trigger. If you're specific to one weapon and one weapon only, there's also a product called the DryFire mag. Works great. Because of YouTube and Facebook's issues, we can't show you loading the magazine and then pulling the trigger all in one step. So I'm going to tell you that basically what it is. It's going to be a magazine that seats into the firearm. Again, it's firearm specific. It's got a spring-loaded actuator, so this is going to keep my trigger live. The plus to this over using, say, the cardstock in the breech face is this will allow your slide to go all the way forward. So for those of you running multiple retention systems in your holster setup, this will allow you to fully seat that weapon and then be able to pull, draw, and be able to run that trigger with an active trigger still in the firearm. So, again, I'll show you the setup here in just a second once we get it staged up. So we've got the dry fire mag seated in our firearm. You'll notice it's got the orange floor plate to remind you that it is the dry fire mag, not a live mag in your weapon. Of course, we always want to make sure these are safe, so we're clearing these weapons before we get to it. But I get a very positive reinforced trigger with a reset. And this is very functional. So if I'm trying to focus on draw, squeeze, repeat, and I can repeat that all day long. We're trying to prevent that muscle memory of trying to run that slide every time you want to reset the trigger. It's just a bad habit to get into. There's no reason to do it. Too many tools out there on the market now. Dry fire mags, you can find them on the internet. You can find them at Armored Bore Gunworks. If you reach out to us, we'll help you source them. Realistically, this is a great tool. It can be done with a cardstock at virtually no price. The downfall to the cardstock, like I said, is that slide's not going to go all the way home. So if you're running a multiple retention system holster, you're going to find issues with it seating and properly locking in. This will actually let you run that firearm the way you run. You always want to run as close to whatever your duty or carry purpose is. So this is going to get you done, but like I said, there is a cost associated. So just another cool product. Check it out. Again, Armored Bore Gun Works. Get out there and train.